Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another episode. Today I wanted to talk about Season 5, Week 4. I know we are pretty much done with Week 4, but Season 5 is about halfway done on my mini account, and soon we are going to be seeing a little more of how this season is going to wrap up, what the final fights are going to look like. A lot of these cities are opening up, so a lot of the big battles are about to take place. Nothing dramatic has really happened yet. So this is going to certainly open things up. And I wanted to pull this up real quick just to show there is nothing on here yet that shows that we are going to get Morrison's exclusive weapon in week 6, or week 5. So it looks like it's probably still going to be the same thing we're going to get in week 6. If something changes, I will be able to see that later on at reset here. But as of right now, it doesn't show me anything for Hero Day for next week, but my guess is it's probably not going to be on there. It's probably going to be in week 6 like they've always been. So here is the map now, and you can see people are now able to take over level 10 banks. So everybody is kind of surrounding, well, I'm not going to say everybody, it's my alliance and then our big brother alliance, which is we got IGP from the other server, and then our Big Brother Alliance UVS. So they are surrounding the capital currently. And yes, it's a bit confusing because you have the same color, but one is horizontal stripes, where the other one you have stripes going diagonally. So yeah, visually a little tricky to tell apart who is who. So this is going to be a really big showdown here this week as a lot of these cities start opening up. And it is a bit confusing because this had a different protection stage on it. When we were looking at it last week, it said that the protection stage was ending this week, and that's no longer the case. That bubble countdown has changed. Level 10 cities, if I scroll down to here, you can look and see those open up in about 3.5 days. And then going down to the level 8 cities, these are going to open up. Actually, this says open right now. I think... I don't know why those aren't captured. I think a lot of people may just have hit their limits, and there's only so many people. So if you look at this, you have to be touching a city. And so a lot of these people have already kind of captured. You can see they captured this bank here, and then that allowed them to capture these crystal gold mines. So if we click on these, it will show you here how much they get, 25 per hour. So that is for your entire alliance, which is great because the more you have, more players you have in your alliance, the more everybody's going to be getting. And that is one of the ways you can score points and finish in your grouping for the rewards, is to be ranked and higher in the crystal gold at the end of the season. So those are going to be pretty big to go after, which is probably why some of these smaller ones have been left and nobody else can capture them. And so that's going to be the interesting part to see once these banks, keep wanting to say dig sites, once these banks get taken, it's really going to limit who's going to be able to capture these cities. You can only capture 2 cities a day, so we're going to have a lot of cities sitting open waiting to be caught, and then you're going to have these people fighting over them as you come down to where there's only, say, 5 cities left and 3 cities left and 2 cities left. People are going to be fighting over those cities and trying to maximize their influence points. Now let's talk about the outpost here. So if we scroll in here, you can see this is our outpost, and you can only attack 5 times. So you can, or not attack, whatever you want to call it. You have 5 attempts daily to help rebuild this. And you want to have everybody from your war zone on your war zone, not this entire map, but your specific war zone. So all your alliances from your original war zone, you want to have them on at reset on Sunday night when week 4 starts. So right as soon as week 4 starts, everybody needs to be on. They all need to surround this outpost, or at least come in waves and start rebuilding this thing as soon as possible. It's going to take some time to do this because you only have 5 attempts per day. And then the big thing to note, whoever is attacking this or rebuilding this, whatever you want to do, you use attacks, whatever, you are going to be placed in an order of first, second, and third, depending on who is rebuilding the most. So whoever is number one is who is going to take control of this and get credit for this outpost. So if you don't want to be, taking it over, you want to make sure that your alliance isn't number one at the top. So if you have an alliance that you want, or that everybody's planning on owning this outpost, you want to make sure they are online, they are having people participate, and they're not number two or number three, because at the end of this, when this gets finished rebuilding, if they're not number one, they're not going to take over this outpost and get credit for holding it. But once the outpost is controlled, anybody in your war zone is then able to branch off of this and continue to go into the center. So that's a nice thing. Even though there's only one alliance that owns it, every alliance in the war zone is able to branch off from here and to spread out and take over area in this central land here. Here is the screen. Whenever you open up the season tab, you'll have the Warzone Outposts, or Warzone Routes is what it's labeled. It's kind of confusing. But if you click on it, it opens up to Warzone Outposts. I'm not sure why they have two different names here. I think it'd be a little more obvious if they were to just put Warzone Outpost and then explain what was going on with the outpost. But hey, that's just me. Keep it simple. But sometimes our last word doesn't always do that, unfortunately. And this is where you can see the rankings of who's done what and the progress, the repair progress. So you need 28,000 repairs. So if you have 5 repairs per player, you have 100 players per alliance. That's 500 repairs a day per alliance. If you have 5 active alliances with 100 players each doing all their repairs, that's 2,500 a day. So hopefully you have a lot of players on that can participate and repair the Warzone Outpost. And this is really, I think, the issue with some of the, quote unquote dead servers, or servers that have some high-end power but lack the depth, which is similar to what we have an issue with on our server in 71. We lack that depth. And so I think that's going to be an issue for us, where it's going to take us a little bit longer to get the Warzone Outpost. And if you can't get it right away, that means you're just going to be struggling to be able to capture land internally here. So that's a major issue. And unfortunately, I wish they would have changed this. I don't think that number is the best number for this. Maybe if it was closer to, say, just 20,000, I think would have been a better number than 28,000. I think 28,000 is very, very high, because we have strong players. We're not going to have an issue taking cities, taking banks, along with our other alliance. We're not going to have an issue with most of the alliances in our season. The problem we're going to have is getting the outpost built, and that's kind of crazy to think. A team that can dominate may not be able to take their outposts first and be able to take other cities and stuff in the central region. And if that's you and that's your war zone, just be prepared. Just make sure everybody is aware that every single day they need to participate. They need to be repairing that building, so that way you guys can go ahead and progress through the central area. If not, you're just going to be sitting there watching everybody start take things, and you're going to have to be fighting for those cities and banks later on whenever those protection stages expire. And that's really the big items for week 4. So looking ahead at week 5 here, you have Warzone Invasion, Warzone Expedition, very similar to week 4. It's just kind of flipped the two around. It's kind of funny. But you're going to see that the level 10 city is going to be ready for war. Again, I'm a bit confused with that because it says 24 days. The season ends in 22 days. Not quite sure the math on that one. So I guess we'll find out when that actually opens next week. It's a bit confusing. But most of the other cities are going to be opening up in week 5, the main big cities in the center. So I think the main thing is you're going to have alliances, say your big alliances are going to be focused on going for number 1 or the second tier rewards. They are going to be focused on the cities and the banks in the center, while the smaller alliances, that's their opportunity to go and take not only cities and banks in their war zone, but then to spread out and take cities and banks in other war zones. So that's where I think the other, war zone invasion, war zone expedition, where they're going to be going over and trying to invade nearby war zones, that's going to be more probably for the lower tier alliances, just because they're not going to be able to move towards the center. They're going to have to kind of move horizontally versus vertically. And so just plan whenever you're thinking about where you're going to be moving, where you fit in your server, which direction you're going to move, that you're staging yourself accordingly, so you're not having to fight your way or move in weird, through weird pathing to get where you want to get. I mean, if say you're this green alliance here and you want to take some war zone lands over here, you're going to have to make your way, all the way over here, versus if you were to have spread down through here, towards this level 4 trade post, moved your way down there and then kind of came up and around, instead of having to fight through several different alliances. This is a very different season. I mean, it's a lot like Season 1. I wish Season 1 was this. This would have made a lot of players stick around. This would have been really exciting. I think Season 2, what they did with that, I understand they were trying to get away from the chaos of Season 2 or Season 1, but I think that just went the complete opposite direction and made things significantly worse. This, I think, is a pretty good combination, best of both worlds scenarios. We'll have to wait and see exactly how this plays out, what everybody's feedback is at the end of the season here. And I think there's going to be a lot of strategies that come out of this as well. We'll just have to wait and see what those strategies are for high-end alliances, mid-tier alliances, where to position yourself and how to move through. So there's going to be a lot of learning with this, and only time will tell what everybody thinks about the season. Overall, I think it's a move in the right direction. I have been saying it since Season 3 that they needed to get away from the Alliance Center stuff, and they did. They finally listened to us, and they mix it in with this, or switch it up with this, so we'll see. But that's it for this episode, guys. I just wanted to briefly talk about this Season 5, Week 4, Week 5 stuff, what to prepare for, so you guys know exactly what's going to happen, because this is pretty big. You're going to need to work together for that outpost. You're going to have 100% of your war zone helping out. If not, you're going to be on the struggle bus to take positions accordingly. So thanks again for watching, everybody, and I will catch you in the next one.